Yo, what up guys? This is your boy Judai Yuki here, and finally we are going to be doing the Chazz Princeton or Jun Manjoume Thunder deck profile. I called it the Manjoume Thunder deck profile because in the Japanese his nickname was Manjoume Thunder, and you know, there was this cool, you know, 1/10,000 Manjoume Thunder quote thing. It was cool. It was fun. Anyway, you guys already know I do love Manjoume. I love his character, and his deck is pretty interesting. It's very unique, I'll tell you that much. It has a mixed match of different archetypes in it and stuff like that. So we'll just pretty much be going through the deck, showing you guys how to use it and how to build it. This is there's I think 3 or 4 different ways to build his deck, because you know he has the armed dragons, he has unions, you know, Ojamas are I guess the staple in the deck, and he also had like fiends at one point in the beginning. But yeah, anyway, let's just get started with the deck profile. Start off, we already know he's got the 3 Ojamas, Ojama Yellow, Green, and Black. So those are obvious, you gotta have those in there right now. Next, we're gonna go into the next line of mini archetype, the next sub archetype of the deck, which is I guess the Union monsters. So we got V Tiger Jet. This is the hollow one that came out in the Kaiba pack, so I added it to his deck too, the hollows. We got W Wing Catapult. We got X Head Cannon, nice and hollow. We got Y Dragon Head, and we got Z Metal Tank. That's pretty much it for the Union support. He does have a few more, but you know there's not a lot of room for that, so I wanted to focus on like the more important ones, the main ones for now. Anyway, so yeah, moving on, the next line of support, we're gonna have the Armed Dragons. So we got Armed Dragon level 3, 3 Armed Dragon level 3s. He has 3. He has 2 Armed Dragon level 5s. He has 2 Armed Dragon level 7s, and he has 1 Armed Dragon level 10. So that's really nice. Yeah, so that's the Ojamas right there with the Unions and the Armed Dragons. Like I said, it's a very weird mix-up. It seems weird. It seems like it doesn't work. In a weird way, it kind of does, sort of. But yeah, I mean, the new support that he got in the most recent Duelist Pack does help out the deck. We'll get into that stuff in just a bit. But yeah, we have 3 Masked Dragons. He has 3 of them in Season 4. And this is very helpful to, you know, cycle through your deck a lot faster and get out your Armed Dragon level 3 so that it could evolve to level 5 and so on and so on. So yeah, you gotta have 3 Armed Dragons. And for the final monster, you could add any monster really that you want as the final slot, because these are the main important ones. I added Unhappy Maiden, which is a card that he used when he had that 0 attack deck. Its effect is defensive, which is why I added it. Its effect reads, when this card is sent to the graveyard as a result battle, the battle phase for that turn ends immediately. So if you're about to be OTK'd, your opponent has a bunch of monsters, it destroys this card, you'll be protected for a turn. So that's pretty good, kind of like a Winged Karibo for his deck in a way. So yeah, that's pretty fun, pretty interesting. You could, like I said, you could replace this card for any card that Manjoume or Chazz has anyway. So that's, you know, interchangeable. You could do whatever you want with that. But yeah, so that's the monster lineup. That's 20 monsters exactly. For the spell cards, we got the common spell cards first of all, which is going to be Polymerization to go into your Ojama King and Ojama Knight. We got Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Giant Trunade, Premature Burial, and the final one, Lightning Vortex. This comes in handy quite a lot. And then, so that's pretty much the generic stuff. Now we're gonna move into the Union support. He only has 1 Union support and then 1 other one that works with Ojama, so I'll get into that later. But we got the anime card, Different Dimension Hanger. Anyway, its effect reads, banish up to 3 level 4 lower Union monsters from your deck. If you normal or special summon a monster written in the card text of any of the Union monsters banished this way, you can special summon them from the extra deck. So essentially, I believe you banish Y, Z, and W, and then if you were to normal or special summon X or V, you could special summon all of them from the banish zone and then just go for, you know, XYZ Dragon Cannon, VW Tiger Jet, and then go into VW XYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon, blah blah blah. So this pretty much, this one card, if you draw this early game, can set up everything for your, you know, your fusion plays, you know, with the Union monsters and stuff. So if you draw that early on, that's fantastic. And if you have, you know, X and V already in your hand, that's even more awesome. You're literally set, which is fantastic. Next, we got the level support. There's only 2 right now for the spell cards. You got Level Up, obviously. And we got the anime card, Level Copy. Its effect reads, special summon 1 level monster that has the same name as a monster you control from your hand or deck. So if you have level 5 or level 3, you can special summon another one from your deck. Or your hand, so that's pretty good. Not bad, simple, straightforward. You can't use it on level 7 though, because it can't be normal summoned or set. It doesn't ignore the summoning condition, so you can't really do that with level 7. But level 3 and level 5, you definitely can. I really wish he had more level support. He does have level down. I didn't add it in this deck because it wasn't that important to add it in this deck, and other cards were more important to add. There's already enough mixed match of different stuff in here, so I didn't want to add too much of one thing. And most of the space is taken up by like some of the generic spells and the Ojama spells, which that's what we're going to get into right now. So the Ojama cards we're going to get into right now. These are the final cards. We got Ojama Magic, obviously. You gotta have that. We got Ojama Delta Hurricane. We got Ojama Dala anime card. Pay 1,000 light points to special summon Ojama Green, Black, and Yellow from the graveyard. That's pretty much it. Simple and straightforward. And then the final 2 Ojama support cards that came out. These are new cards that came out in the Duelist Pack, the most recent one, that are support specifically for Manjoume's character deck, just like they gave support for Joey, Pegasus, and a bunch of other, you know, anime characters. They gave support for their character decks, not their archetypes. So, as you can see, we got Oja Modification, which is original name, and Oja Matching, which is also its original name. But yeah, so these 2 cards are very powerful. They actually help out the deck quite a lot, especially the trap card, which we'll get into. But essentially, what Ojama Simulation does, it's a little hard to say that. Reveal 1 light machine fusion monster from your extra deck and banish any number of Ojama monsters from your hand, face up on the field and or graveyard. To special summon fusion materials with different names, whose names are specifically listed on the monster. On that monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So yeah, I said that kind of weird. But essentially, you just reveal XYZ, then banish. Then you can banish Ojamas from your hand, field, or graveyard, and then you can special summon all of them from your, I think, from your deck, right? Okay, from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So that's perfect. So it doesn't matter where it is. You just banish Ojama Green, Yellow, and Black, and you can special summon X, Y, and Z from the hand, deck, or graveyard. It doesn't matter. So that's very powerful. It's very easy to use. I was doing some test duels earlier today, and I didn't even get to draw the card, so I didn't even get to test out its power. But I tested it out on Dueling Book one time, and it was really good. These 2 cards make it so much better. And then we got Ultra Matching, a quick play spell card. Its effect reads, send 1 Ojama card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Add 1 Ojama monster with a different name and 1 Armed Dragon monster from your deck and or graveyard. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you normal summon 1 of those monsters. So it pretty much, you can add an Ojama card or an Armed Dragon card from your, you know, deck or graveyard to your hand, and then you can normal summon, so it gives you an extra normal summon. Normal summon 1 of those monsters that you added. And then during the main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 3 banished Ojama monsters, shuffle them into the deck, and draw 1 card. Ojama Simulation also has an effect. You can banish this card from the graveyard to target 3 banished Ojama monsters and shuffle them into the deck. Both of these cards, I think, banish. No, this one banishes Ojamas to summon, you know, the fusions. So, and then you could banish this from the graveyard to bring them back and fuse with them, or do other, you know, Ojama shenanigans with it and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, and it's cool because it sends them back to the deck, and you get to draw a card. So that's just useful. But yeah, these cards make the deck a lot better. and it makes it smoother, because before, you know, the Ojamas didn't really do much. It felt like they were doing their own thing in the deck, but now because of these new support cards, the Ojamas actually are useful in the deck and can actually work with his Union monsters and his Armed Dragon monsters, which before they didn't work so well. There are some anime cards that worked with the Union monsters and the Ojamas, but with the Armed Dragons, definitely not. So these two cards plus the trap card we'll get into really helped out the deck a lot to make the deck work smoother. You know, like work with each other, even though they're completely separate mini archetypes that shouldn't work together. But yeah, so those are the new spell card supports for the deck. Next, we're going to go into the trap cards. We got Ojama Trio, and we got the new trap card, Oja Pajama, or its real name, which is a Ojama Party. Essentially, it's a really cool trap. It's a defensive trap, it's a search card, and it has like a floating effect too, I believe. If an Armed Dragon monster or monsters and or light machine fusion monster or monsters you control will be destroyed by battle or card effects. So essentially, if any of your, you know, Armed Dragons or XYZ VW or VW XYZ Union monsters were to get destroyed, the fusion monsters were to get destroyed, you could, you know, you could basically banish one Ojama card that includes any of the spell or trap cards that have Ojama in their name. So it's not just the Ojama monsters, it's any Ojama card. Banish them to prevent them from being destroyed by that effect or by that battle. Yeah, and that's pretty much what it does there. And then it has another effect that you can only activate once per turn. During your main phase, you can add one Ojama card from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. So this literally allows you to search any Ojama card in the deck. So I mean, come on, that's perfect. And it's each turn during your main phase, so once per turn you can keep searching. So that if you draw this early game or in your first hand or first two turns, you are set for the whole duel. You can keep adding cards, and it's constantly protecting your Armed Dragons and your, you know, your fusions and stuff like that. So very powerful. Its final effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon as many of your banished Ojama monsters as possible. So as soon as they get rid of this, or you get rid of it somehow, you could bring back the 3 Ojamas on the field in defense, and then do other Ojama shenanigans. So yeah, very powerful card. This is like my favorite card out of almost all of them, because it's defensive and it's, you know, searches a lot, so it's really good. Next, we got the anime card Level Soul. Tribute one monster, banish one level, and banish one level monster from your graveyard. Special summon one monster from your deck that is written in the card text of the banished monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you could banish level 5 from the graveyard to special summon level 7 from the deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. So really good, really powerful. I added, these are generic traps, return from a different dimension. I added this card in there because since you're banishing the Ojamas, you're banishing the materials that you need to summon XYZ and VW and all that. You're going to be banishing a lot of monsters, so this will come in handy, so you could, you know, pay half your life points to bring them all back and do more shenanigans with that. So that's why I added this in there, since you're going to be banishing a lot. You can side that out if you want, but you know, try it out, see how it goes. We got the anime card, direct border, continuous trap card. Neither player can declare a direct attack with monsters with 1,000 or more attacks. So basically, you can never get attacked directly unless they have a 900 or less attack points. And then, if you do get attacked by a monster with 900 or less attack points, you get to draw a card. So, you know, if you take a little bit of damage, let's say Spell Striker attacks you directly, bam, you get to draw a card. So, it protects you and then gives you a bonus if you do manage to get attacked by a weak monster. So that's pretty cool. I love how it handles both situations kind of well and stuff. And then the final trap, we got Call of the Haunted. Very simple, straightforward. That's the main deck, simple and straightforward. The side deck, very simple also. We got Ojama King, we got Ojama Knight. Now I know you guys are going to be saying, wait, Ojama Knight, he never used that, Jaden used it. Come on guys, use a little common sense here, think about it. In the episode where he dueled Chazz, when he summoned Ojama Knight, he found Chazz's deck on the beach, on the ocean, and he used it. So why would Jaden have Ojama Knight? It makes no sense. He has no Ojamas, he owns no Ojamas. This is Chazz's card. Chazz also has a card called Shield Attack, which Jaden also used in that duel. So it's just common sense. The reason why Chazz never summons Ojama Knight is because he always has the materials he needs to summon Ojama King. Why would he summon Knight when he can summon the King? The King is better. It locks 3 zones, and he always goes for the King combo, Oja Muscle, and all that stuff. So he has the card, he just has no reason to use it, because since this is his deck, he's always going to draw the combos necessary to draw the 3 Ojamas at once, to summon Ojama King, or do the Ojama Delta Hurricane and all other combos. So yeah, but he does have that. It is his card, you know. And then the final cards, we got VW Tiger Catapult, we got XYZ Dragon Cannon, we got VW XYZ Catapult Cannon, and then the final new support card that came from the Duelist Pack, it is Armed Dragon Catapult Cannon. This card is, hold on, let me see if I could focus a little bit. Okay, anyway, whatever. Its effect reads, you basically summon this by fusing on the field Armed Dragon level 7 and this guy right here, VW XYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon. So you fuse these two together. It's extremely difficult to do, but with the new support it does make it easier. If you draw it out and do everything right, you can summon this card, but it is very hard. It has 3500 attack, 3000 defense. Its effect reads, must be special summoned from the extra deck during the duel. During a duel, you special summon both of the above cards by banishing the above card from your hand. No, from your field or graveyard. Oh! Hold on. That's amazing. I didn't know it was from the graveyard too. So let's say if you fusion summon this during the duel, it got destroyed early in the duel, and Armed Dragon level 7 was also summoned in the same duel properly, and it's in the graveyard, you can also fuse them from the graveyard. They don't have to be on the field. It's also from the graveyard. So that's pretty busted, actually. I mean, obviously, it's still very hard to do. It's not busted at all, because summoning this thing is going to be freaking a task in itself, because you have to go through so many hoops just to summon this, and then summon Armed Dragon level 7 properly in the duel, and then fuse them both. It's still going to be hard, but the fact that you don't have to have them both on the field at the same time, that is good, because you don't have to worry too much about that. Anyway, its effect reads, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same name as any banished card. So yeah, because its other effect is once per turn during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish one card from your deck or extra deck face up. Banish all cards your opponent controls and in their graveyard. So it banishes everything, literally, and then all the cards that are banished, if your opponent has copies of those cards, they can't use those cards in the duel at all, because you banished it. So that's pretty interesting and unique effect, I must say. But yeah, it is powerful. It is hard to summon, but once you do it, it is definitely something. It is definitely worth it. Yeah, but yeah, that's the deck right there. I'm gonna just quickly go into the side deck real quick. So the side deck, there's not that many. I mean, you could really do whatever you want with the side deck, but here are some. I had a Chaos Necromancer, I guess, because whatever, you could literally add any monster you want, I guess, in there in the final slot. So it is what it is. But this card is good late game. You know, he gains 300 attack for every monster in the graveyard. So late game he could become pretty big in case if you have nothing else. So he's in there. We got let me see something here. We got Oja Muscle, obviously. I didn't add that in the main deck because, you know, it requires you to have already Ojama King on the field and you know, Ojama Trio and stuff like that to really make it work. So I didn't add it in the main deck. Side deck, if you guys want to test it out, go ahead. I didn't add it in the main deck for this build because it's already cloggy enough. There's already too much going on in the deck. We got Megamorph, we got Silent Doom, we got level modulation, we got the Dark Door. This card is pretty good. I might add this in the main deck. I gotta find room for it because it's a defensive card. You know, it's like only one monster can attack during each battle phase. This affects both you and your opponent. And I was facing Joey's deck earlier, testing it out, and he was completely like going off on me. And if I had a card like this would be great because then I could stall out for much longer. And this and that. It stops you from attacking too, but that's not that big of a deal. You have Armed Dragons which pop. You have the XYZs which also pop with their effects and stuff like that. So you have ways of removing stuff off the field without even attacking with multiple monsters. So I might add this in the main deck. I'll test it out and see how it goes. But yeah, we got limiter removal for your machines to power them up real quick. We got Magical Mallet, you know, to shuffle through your deck. I added as many draw cards as possible because you're gonna need it to draw out the pieces you need, like the new good Ojama support. And then we got a Feather of Phoenix. I just added this today in the deck because this could come in handy. You know, discard a card, target any card in the graveyard, place it on the top of your deck. You could add Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, any of the Ojama support. In case if your trap gets popped early, you can add it back to the top of your deck, set it again, and then start the shenanigans all over again. So that's why I added it, because, you know, it can come in handy. Then, yeah, we got a Frontline Base. Didn't add it in the main deck because the new Ojama support kind of does that for you for the most part. Enchanting Fitting Room. We got Reload, and we got Ring of Defense. Hollowed out, very nice. And then we also got anime cards. We got Quick Summon, Quick Play Spell card. It's just normal summon one monster. It's pretty much just a double summon, but it's a quick play. Then we got Infernal Transaction. It's an anime card, obviously. Its effect reads: target one monster with 2,000 or more attack in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to their side of the field. Then add one spell card from your graveyard to your hand. This is good because you could add Graceful Charity back to your hand, Pot of Greed back to your hand, or any of your other powerful spell cards that you need back to your hand, and your opponent just gets a monster with 2,000 or more attack. That may seem bad, but in a character duel, that's not the worst thing in the world. And if you're getting something back to your hand, it might actually be worth it, you know, to get that extra draw power or destruction. You could add Lightning Vortex back to your hand. You could do some crazy stuff. So that's not that bad of a card, honestly. You should really consider that. Yeah. We got Desperado Manager. Activate only if you have one or more cards in your hand other than this card. Draw 2 cards, then shuffle 3 cards from your hand to the top of your deck. So it's a combo with Enchanting Fitting Room. You draw 2 cards, and then you place the 3 Ojamas on the top of the deck. You activate Enchanting Fitting Room to pay 100, draw the top 4 cards of your deck, and then special summon the 3 Ojamas. So it's a combo with that. There are possible other combos with it, but that's like the main one. So that's on the side deck if you want to try that out. It is a draw 2, but you have to return 3 to the top of your deck. So I don't know if it's worth it. It depends. It's on you. You figure that out. We got Shield Attack, Equip Spell card. Switch the attack and defense of the equipped monster. So this is for like Ojama King, because he has 3,000 defense. So just swap it. Bam, 3,000. It's pretty good. And then Ojama Delta Hurricane, the final anime spell card here. Essentially, its effect is activate only if you control an Ojama Green, Black, and Yellow on the field. Your opponent takes 500 damage for each card in their hand and on their field. So it does some burn damage, and then you can send from your hand or deck Ojama Delta Hurricane to destroy all cards your opponent controls. So it is the extra busted version of Ojama Delta Hurricane. It does everything Ojama Delta Hurricane does, plus more. It burns you like crazy, because it's 500 for every card on the field and hand. So that's ridiculous, honestly. That's pretty beast. You could knock someone out with just that, possibly, and then bomb their whole field too. Oh, that's just wild. That's some shenanigans right there. Trap cards, we got Ring of Destruction. I added that in there because, you know, just in case you want to try that with Ring of Defense, the usual combo. Go right ahead. We have Level Bond anime card. Your opponent draws 2 cards. Special summon 1 level monster from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. That monster's effects are negated and it cannot attack this turn. So if you go on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia, it has a different effect. Its effect is like banish 2 level monsters from your graveyard. Your opponent draws 2 cards, and then you can special summon a level monster from your deck that's in its card text, ignoring the summon conditions. It can't attack, blah blah blah. It has a different effect. But if you watch the episode where he used this card against Edo Phoenix, against Aster Phoenix, all it did was your opponent draws 2 cards, and then you can special summon a level monster from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. That's what it did in the anime, but on the actual card there was a completely different effect. So what I'm guessing they did is there was a typo on the card effect, and when they did the episode, they either forgot what it did or they made a mistake, so they just rolled with it and they forgot to go back to fix it or whatever. But in the anime it did a different effect, but if you look at the card, it's a different effect. But this is the effect that was actually used, so that's the one that I'm using because that's what he actually did in the show, and that's the combo that I'm trying to pull off. Next we got Oja Marking. When this card on the field would be sent to the graveyard, banish it instead. When a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard to target an Ojama monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Ojama Marble. Activate only when a face-up Ojama monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Return that card to the deck. Draw 2 cards, then discard 1. Ojama Delta Wear. Special summon 1 Ojama Green, Yellow, and Black from your graveyard that were destroyed by battle this turn. That one's okay. It's not that great, only because it has to be during that turn. But if it was just in general, that would not be that bad. We got Hyper Code Continuous Trap card. Target one face of V, W, X, Y, and or Z machine type monster you control. Equipped it to that card. It gains 500 attack, and it is unaffected by your opponent's spell traps or monster effects. When it is removed from the field, destroy this card. Basically equipped it to any and all of your union monsters, or equip or your fusion monsters. You know, your VWXYZ fusion monsters. The final anime trap card, Dramatic Crossroads. Activate only when you take battle damage. Your opponent selects and activates one of the effect. First effect, discard 1 random card. Second effect, your opponent looks at your hand, selects 1 card in it, and add it to the hand. So essentially, they choose the effect. They either have to discard a card from their hand, or they have to allow you to take a card from their hand and add it to your hand. So you can steal one of your opponent's cards from their hand, or they have to discard 1 card. So either way, they're losing 1 card. But yeah, so that's the deck, guys. Strength and weaknesses of the deck real quick. This is a pretty long video because there's just so many anime cards and so many things. Strengths of the deck. It is powerful. It can work very well. If you draw a lot of the combo pieces, especially if you draw a lot of the new support early on, along with just at least 1 Ojama, or if you can draw all of them, that'd be great. The deck can go rolling. Once you draw the cards you need, the right combo pieces, it goes off like crazy. I didn't get to pull it off today because I wasn't drawing. I didn't draw the Ojama Party Trap card. I didn't draw the other 2 new support cards either. So I was just unlucky. I didn't get to draw it. Even though I drew Pot of Great Strategy, I still didn't draw it. So I just got unlucky, but maybe it's just not my day to draw it. But I've done it before on Dueling Network, and it worked beautifully, and it was so much fun. Once you get it going, it is so much fun. It is so destructive, and it's just fantastic. So that's the strength. It can be powerful once you get it going. Practice with the deck, get used to the flow. You have a lot of draw cards, and you have to discard cards too. So pretty much discard any of the Ojama monsters, because you're not going to need them, because you're going to banish them from the graveyard with the trap card. So don't be afraid to discard them to the graveyard. The same with the armed dragons, because you have ways of bringing them back, ignoring the summoning conditions and stuff like that. Just mess around with the side deck too. You know, if you don't like how certain things are in there, you want to try, just mess around with the side deck. There's a lot you can still do. Its weaknesses, it's still not perfect. You know, it's still a deck that works with 3 different archetypes that don't inherently work together. So it's not perfect by any means, but it is better because of the new support. You know, but it is powerful and strong. It does have, you know, if your opponent is running a really fast and aggressive deck that builds up pretty quickly, it can have a hard time keeping up, honestly. It really can. The weaknesses of Chazz's deck in general is that he doesn't have enough defensive cards. You know, like negate attacks and stuff like that. Cards that are prevent battle damage. Cards that prevent effect damage. Cards that just stall. He doesn't have enough stall cards to really like last long, and that's, you know, that sucks. He has just a small amount, and it's not enough. It's really not. So if he had more defensive cards, his deck would be absolutely like pretty amazing. So that's the weakness of his deck. It's just he doesn't have enough defense, and getting the right combo pieces to your hand can be hard, because, you know, it's still by chance. If you don't draw out the right combo pieces, you can still do stuff. You can still, you know, kind of win, but he has a hard time recovering at times. You know, he really does. But yeah, so that's the deck profile for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have fun. I will have another build for Chazz coming up soon too, which is going to be called the Ojama Union build, which is just focused on the Ojamas and the Union monsters, because he has more Union monsters and he has other support cards that work with Union monsters and Ojamas. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any support cards that work with Armed Dragons and Ojamas. If they did, then I would, you know, maybe mess around with this deck a bit more. But yeah, so I'll do the Ojama Union deck next. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I know this video was long, but there's just so many cards to go through, so many anime cards. Normally I don't read them, but I actually have enough energy, so that's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you had fun. I hope you guys try this deck out. Also, in the link in the description, if you want to download all of Chazz's anime cards that I revealed to you guys today, it will be in the link in the description. There's a Google link account below, so go on that one, print, and you can print out all the cards, just cut them out yourselves and add them in, and you can use all the anime cards that are on this deck profile, so that way you guys can actually test out, you know, the decks, you know, because I haven't been doing such a good job with that. You know, I got to give you guys the anime cards so you guys can actually test out the decks that we build on the channel. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything. God bless you guys. See you guys next time. Gotcha!